The Chosen One, Mother and Son. Written by Vijay Shankar Sharma. Narrated by Amy Baron Smolinski. Copyright Vijay Shankar Sharma, 2017.
About the poet. Vijay Shankar Sharma is from Gurugram, India. He is a chartered accountant, MBA, and ADP from Wharton. He spent a long time in the corporate world working in many roles, including as CFO and CEO. He is a stock market expert and management consultant, and also an author, actor, and director. Vijay has also written the first ever unified theory of love and hate, and provided a method of calculating one's love or hate for anyone or anything in his book titled, What is Love? Formula for All Relationships. His English novel, Let's Play Blind, is available on Amazon, and based on the novel, a Hindi movie, Let's Play Blind, on Vimeo. The book is currently being translated in more than 50 languages, including the following. Some reviews of the poems in this video. Dynamic, holding readers' attention. I devoured this poem in one breath and will totally recommend it for others. It faces vital issues for present mankind. The second poem began like simply beautiful piece of poetry, but then it shocked me and made me to think deeply and brought tears to my eyes. Yulia from Russia. The poems contain two moving, powerful stories that capture the beautiful, yet sometimes sorrowful, irrationality of a mother's love for her child, while at the same time conveying an even deeper meaning on humanity's journey towards ultimate corruption that should make us all reflect on our not-so-far-anymore future. Amelia from Italy. The poems are full of imagination, while thought-provoking. Whoever you are, young or old, man or woman, you'll see something valuable from these poems. Cleo Lee from China. The first poem, The Chosen One. The sun captures the attention of readers in such a way that the end of every line creates an interest to read the next line. The second poem, The Chosen One, The Mother, is a tribute to all mothers with its rich content. In this way, a reader could not stop until she completes the entire book. I find both the poems very new and fresh, and I can feel myself witnessing everything as if the content was real and I was a character in it. This book is a good feast for those hungry poetry readers. Fatima from India. Absolutely wonderful and awakening poem. It is exactly what people need to read nowadays, and hopefully realize what a great mistake they keep on making each day. If only kids got familiar with this story instead of with iPhones, iPads, social media, and the like, the world we live in would be a humane, beautiful, happy, and peaceful place. Marta from Serbia. Thanks for your time. Do write your views in the comments about how the messages of the poem can be spread. You must also do your bit to save Mother Earth, and in turn, all its children, including us, the chosen ones. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Thanks for listening to this book. This book, in paper version, will be available in about 100 world languages and dialects. It contains 2 poems. The first one, with 282 lines in 21 chapters, and its sequel. Both poems also contain stories. They are titled The Chosen One, The Son, and The Chosen One, The Mother. The Chosen One, The Son, is a story addressing the real problems and issues facing the humanity. They have become existential issues for the mankind. The man feels the need to have superior powers over others. He wants to dominate others, including the nature. What could this lead to? The story is told through a child who is born to a single mother. He is the apple of her eyes. But soon, things take a turn for the worse. The child grows into a monster with gigantic body and the need to grow even more. The monster leaves the care of his mother and the company of his siblings. He undertakes a selfish journey that leads to the destination of the worst imaginable nature. While listening to the poems and afterwards, try answering. Who was the mother? Who was the chosen one? Who were the siblings of the chosen one? Why did they have so many skills? What or where was the estate? Why did the estate not appear to have boundaries? Why or how did the chosen one become a monster? Who were the other monsters? Why did they all look the same? Why did groups of monsters fight amongst themselves? Why did some siblings die and some survive? What happened ultimately? Who won and who lost? These questions, and others that would come to a listener's mind, should be answered by the end of the poem, when all meanings are revealed. The second poem, The Chosen One, the Mother, is the sequel. It too contains a little story that will also shock you and may even make you cry. Please close your eyes if possible now. Try to visualize what you hear. The Chosen One, the Son. Chapter 1. The Birth. A mother's prayers were answered. A child was born. To his perpetual welfare and well-being she was sworn. Looking at her unique creation, she was charmed. When he touched her softly, her heart was warmed. Beautiful, cute, adorable, and having skin so mild, he became the proud mother's most special child. Of the several children, he was her favorite son. He got extra love and care. He was the chosen one. She gave him everything she had, with lots of smiles, love, food, water, and a big shelter of many miles. Although she loved all her daughters and sons, yet she was more the mother of the chosen ones. A remarkable, loving, caring, and doting mother. She cared for her own brood dearly and none other. To prepare for challenges in the life ahead that may lay, she protected and provided them in every possible way. The infants turned toddlers, aware of their mother. They depended on her, never needing any other. A mother so resourceful, any child would have rather. The kids had never known and never missed their father. Chapter 2. Play. Playing in the open fields, they started growing fast. Many things to do and enjoy in an estate so vast. They were all very talented and amazingly skilled. Some swam, jumped, or ran at speeds that thrilled. The chosen one had a talent, the mother once noted. Although the youngest, every sibling he dominated. The mother soon realized the chosen one had arrived. When some grave accidents he had easily survived. Chapter 3. The Wish. An even stronger bond developed between the both, for even emotionally he showed superior growth. Like a typical mother, she too had nurtured a dream. Beautiful, healthy grandchildren, perpetuating her being. Happy family for generations was all she could see. But little did she know, that was not going to be. Chapter 4. The Hurt. A little older, the one once to prevail in a tough race, he took many a tumble and scarred his perfect face. The mother, saddened, the chosen one now had a flaw. If only she could, his lovely face she would redraw. She told herself the time would make the scar vanish. The mother could not bear to see on him any blemish. Some time later, once watching him break her rules, she lovingly let him carry on, even as he used tools. Turning a teen, he became a cause of more anxiety. He is cruel, mean, and selfish, cried the society. She still shrugged that off as a growing year's plot. For him, the mother had strong love and a weak spot. Mother's brood, as always, had regularly expanded. But still the best from her only he commanded. As time went by, slowly, things kept on changing. Some were good, while others not so encouraging. Chapter 5. The Transformation. Soon, something happened. No one really observed. All his facial features, just a little bit, had got curved. As his own body set upon a task to itself rearrange, he often felt from deep within an oncoming change. His face became larger as he expanded in height. Did he really grow so much, or just stood upright? More changes had started happening, altering him. Some occurred externally, some happened within. His head had grown larger, as had his hands and feet. All of his elder brothers he could now easily defeat. A strange cunning then appeared in the gentle eyes. His cute facial features, too, were headed for demise. The mother noticed one day. Her heart almost broke. The sweet voice of the one was now starting to croak. She prayed for the best for him, even herself trying, her love and care for her son unaffected and undying. The process continued as his body hugely expanded. More of everything he needed, he now demanded. Although he too resented his body in a new formation, yet the process had set in for complete transformation. Chapter 6. The Monster. His skin knotted at several places, looking like thorns, just as he felt his skull pierced by tiny growing horns. Huge paws, big pointy ears, and long, sharp teeth. His conversion into a mighty monster now complete. The mother despaired looking at her son's physique, but she still loved him, even as a nature's freak. She often lovingly remembered his younger days, when he first walked, spoke, and his innocent plays. His head held high, hallucinating, and when rushed under his feet many a time, his siblings he crushed. The mother's pet child no more. What had he become? It was just a small beginning of the things to come. His colossal mass, always demanding more food. She kept on feeding him and the rest of her brood. The mother worked overtime to keep all children fed. She did worry about the future, but no tears she shed. Eventually came a time it was so far unthinkable. To feed her hungry children, the mother was unable. Chapter 7. The Cannibal. His hunger was feeding on him, causing the one pain, making him beg, snatch, and steal, and driving him insane. After the unthinkable came the turn of unimaginable. To survive and grow, the one turned into a cannibal. She still kept on loving him, giving him all that she could. How could a mother's heart be really understood? His brothers and sisters, scared, ran from him in a bid to save their own lives, got scattered away and hid. Mother almost got trampled herself once. She knew she was just a small speck from his point of view. He was running around amok for anything edible. A tiny child to a titan wild. The change was incredible. Chapter 8. Leaving home. Not finding enough to feed himself often made him irate. He decided to leave home and explore the rest of the estate. Digging, slashing, and chopping all his way through. Serious obstacles in his new path were really few. He looked at the horizon feeding, and now, omnivorous, the estate seemed to have no fences, making it porous. Chapter 9. Consuming and happy. He fed himself happily for years, a mother's lost baby. One word defined the mother's entire world. Maybe. Maybe the clock will reverse. Maybe times will change. Maybe he will come calling for her, leaving the strange. Maybe he will become normal and come back to her. Maybe it was all a nightmare that would never recur. Whenever everything available at a place the one ate, he moved on to other unexplored parts of the estate. Finding things to consume aplenty at every new place, he would feed and defecate, then leave with disgrace. and so on, moved the one to another uncharted location, making it for many more years his new destination. He started devouring everything at a very fast pace. But the huge estate was not going to lose the race. Figuring out that he could keep eating and move on, there was no one to restrain him, no one looking on. He kept consuming for a time that seemed like forever, forgetting that he also had a purpose in life, however. Chapter 10. Remembering Mother. He did, at times, think of his mother. He broke her heart, but somehow was unable to help it from the very start. In a far corner, the mother had gathered herself back. Some children had returned home, and life on track. She knew she still loved him, and until the very end, that she had forgotten her son, she could not pretend. She had blamed herself all along for his form and fate, and wanted him back home, gently opening the gate. Chapter 11. Consuming even more. Far from her, the monster had started the final dance, now forgetting everything, as if he was in a trance. More, at an even faster rate, he now started to consume. Could he ever become normal, or would he see his doom? Starting a journey for a new site for the first time ever, the monster suddenly got scared, as he was never. He saw something and realized that he was not alone. He could no longer call his mother's estate his own. Chapter 12. The Breach. It had been broken in, breached, invaded by outsiders. They were out to eat all provisions and the providers. A sight he could not really believe could ever be true. The sight that had hit him like a bolt out of the blue. So as not to be seen, he quickly pulled himself away as a column of gigantic figures came marching his way. Millions of monster steps were making the earth shake. They were approaching, ever closer, as a swirling snake. All of them looked bigger and meaner by their sight. He just saw one kill and eat another after a small fight. When they came a little closer, a look sank his heart. It almost froze in an instant attack, needing a restart. Although he was scared, but what made him grim was the fact that each one of them looked just like him. Chapter 13. The Punishment. Unable to trust his eyes and standing still as a line, the sight of himself sending a chill down his spine. To finish off a delinquent son by using a new litter. Maybe it was the revenge of a mother, hurt and bitter. Or had sibling rivalry acquired grotesque proportions? Did his angry brothers and sisters copy his distortions? The musing made Monster's manners meek and mellow, unsure if to hide away or to step ahead and say hello. Controlling both his visible fear and the invisible rage, he decided to lie low and the situation to better gauge. Chapter 14. Assessing the situation. He learned with time that they were all not a big troop. Fighting, often with each other, there was many a group. Realizing that they must not be ones his mother sent made him feel a bit better, and at the same time repent. However, it did not help lessen his unholy feeling that on his own estate he now lived by stealing. Yet another mortal fear then upon him got cast when he realized his stealing was not going to last. So many monsters feeding, the food will soon run out. With nothing to conceal or steal, all will die, no doubt. For his mother and siblings, he then spared a thought. Their poor lives, with even more danger, were fraught. What could the one do to prevent the inevitable? To fight and win over his adversaries, he was unable. His cunning started working then. He started to think, if only in my formidable foes I could find any chink. But the ones he could fight and exterminate were none, and slaying all of them was a lot easier said than done. He spent several more years stealing food and hiding. With time, it had become more strenuous surviving. Chapter 15. War Planning. Once a marauding monster he found stood in his way, and did not find any chance of himself getting away. Faced with a prospect that he could soon be dead, he threw a rock at the monster, crushing his head. The monster was lying dead below. The one was elated. It seemed the key to a lasting survival he had created. The weapon, available in plenty, and was easy to use. He decided to go for winning the ultimate war, not truce. He then started killing his big enemies in full measure, seeing their splattered brains and deriving pleasure. Exerting his new power, he even made some allies. Swearing loyalty to him, they went back in disguise. Soon, the number of enemies started fast declining, and more of the enemies with him were aligning. He sensed prospects that his desolation soon ends, and started designing plans to finish even his friends. Chapter 16. Counterattack. Resting on a hilltop one morning, he got a rude shock. He heard a loud bang and saw a crater made by a rock. Some of his trusted allies had clearly leaked his secret. Treacherous minds sure shall treachery always beget. Numerous monsters had got him, totally surrounded. The bugle of war to finish him they had sounded. He jumped onto the valley below and started to run. But not helping his cause, shining was a bright sun. The earth under his feet got caught in wild vibration as a huge rock nearly missed him and his salvation. Stunned, he looked around for any kind of shelter. Finding none, he started running around helter-skelter. Another rock thrown at him, missed by a stroke of luck. As he fell down in a ditch, and just in time could duck. His situation, now even more perilous, the one cried, "Help me, my mother!" As pulling himself out, he tried. Chapter 17. Running Back Home. The mighty monster turned a small child for a moment. Will his mother's blessings save him from this torment? He extricated himself out while avoiding more attacks, and started running on what seemed like old tracks. Faint memories of time gone by started appearing. Seeing his mother and her lullabies, he started hearing. He recognized the tracks from the time he was very small. He himself made them, running on the grass, thick and tall. Young, he had run on this track with uninhibited joy. A caring mother and a big family made him a happy boy. Chapter 18. Taking the hit. Now, scurrying for his life like a dazed, scared mouse, he was running towards his own mother's old house. All the monsters in pursuit and projectiles advancing, his life in balance. On his head, death was dancing. Some rocks just grazing him, some just falling in front. Burly monsters pressing on behind him in a killer hunt. He himself threw a rock and struck one of them down. Still running, hoping to disappear, looking around. He was approaching the home where the mother still lived, whose dreams for her son he had made short-lived. Stung he was by massive pain as a rock struck his leg. They wouldn't grant him life, even if he were to beg. Murder on everyone's mind, without much of cause. Writhing in agony and running with a limp now he was. Looking back for a moment made him more morose. Approaching from 3 sides, they were now very close. Closer home, situation turned graver, and scenario dim. No hope of his mother and his small siblings saving him. Chapter 19. The Final Fall. His body twisted as a rock struck, breaking his spine. He cried, "Save your sinner son, O mother of mine!" She saw all and heard all, but was utterly helpless. Her heart went out for him, but she had to confess. For the rest of her good children, she now more cared. Pure, little, innocent souls were running around scared. The estate was lying in shambles, scarred everywhere. A great and noble mother was now a picture of despair. How long could he avoid it? Came a deafening boom. Time stood still. His head had split. It was the doom. A rock had struck open his head. More were on the way. His knees were wobbling, and his body began to sway. His brothers and sisters stopped and looked up high. Their lifelong tormentor seemed one up with the sky. A shadow engulfing them, specter easy to comprehend. His body was on an uncontrollable downward descend. Run as they may, pray as they may, be as they may be. Some of them might get away, but all could never flee. He fell with a loud thud, trapping his many sibling. Children of the same mother, lying lifeless, blood dribbling. The monsters stopped rejoicing, having killed the one, now fighting one another, their unity quickly undone. Chapter 20. Where is the mother? The siblings who saved their lives waited with the belief that their mother would soon come and lessen their grief. Then sun went down, wondering if to rise ever again. The survivors grew restless without mother and with pain. The night had descended, but there was a glow around. The survivors now determined the mother must be found. As the monsters found one another to continue the fight, some surviving siblings came back in the moonlit night. Looking all around and under, they shrieked and then fled, trapped under her own son's corpse, lay the mother dead. Chapter 21. The End and Beyond. When nuclear weapons reigned, it was a day in the future. With his gluttony and greed, the man killed his Mother Nature. His siblings, animals, birds, and insects of the Mother Earth, paid the price with their lives for her giving the man birth. Mother Earth will rise again. She will not be dead for long. She would think hard next time before choosing wrong. The chosen one, the mother. The dust clouds rose so high, they blocked out the sun. All survivors, too, had to die. Spared, they tried, were none. No sun saw ice crawling over, making the earth white face, denying the heat entry forever, taking her in deadly cold embrace. There seemed no end in sight, arguing with self in a white cage. Will she ever decide right? Argument lasting an ice age. As a series of beautiful miracles saw the ice melting and giving way, breaking the earth's cold shackles as the trees of life began to sway. As life was sprouting all around, a faint murmur all heard. Incredible as it may sound, she had carried out her word. I will miss your tender love. I will miss your loving care. For the reason that is all above, because, oh Mother, I won't be there. I wanted to sit on your lap. I wanted to be with no one other. I will tell the angels what I feel. Oh, how I wanted to call you Mother. I had dreamt of stealing cookies, hiding behind a pillow or bed, giggling with joy and hugging you tight whenever you caught me red-handed, laughing and loving, talking and playing. We could spend our time thus, telling the stories, running and singing. If only I had lived long enough. One each for love, hugs, caring, and giving. One each for joy, smile, sharing, and a new world. One for watching a part of you growing. You would have got all 9 months' worth. You would not be dressing me now. You would not be feeding me. Hope you took the right decision. Guess you would not be needing me. Getting torn to pieces before the birth was sure very painful. But I am instead thinking of God's greatest creation on earth, who couldn't give funeral to her child dead. Oh, how I would love to be your child, crawling over you, showing my little dance, feeling your sweet love and touch so mild. Would you, Mother, next time, give me a chance? She was heartbroken and crying. A mother's world is so unique, often failing, but always trying. Children make her very weak. If saving all for one is crime, how must natural selection be done? What should she choose next time? Perhaps there will never be a chosen one. The end. This has been The Chosen One, Mother and Son. Written by Vijay Shankar Sharma. Narrated by Amy Baron Smolinski. Copyright Vijay Shankar Sharma, 2017.
Thanks for watching. I am Vijay Shankar Sharma, the poet. If you are moved by the poems, there is something you can do to ensure that the scenario played out in the poem never materializes. Resolve to be a good child of Mother Earth. Use the resources Mother Earth has provided us reasonably. Take care of your siblings who are also children of the same mother, although they may look different than you. Stand for nuclear disarmament and influence those who can make it happen by using your vote and other means at your disposal. Thank you again.
Thanks for your time. Do write your views in the comments about how the messages of the poem can be spread. You must also do your bit to save Mother Earth and, in turn, all its children, including us, the chosen ones. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.